We believe that night that he was. We believe that he was alone. There was no other. There was no one else seen. I won't rule out the possibility of other conspirators, either before or after the fact, especially someone that may have helped him try to cover up his deeds here. But we do not believe that there was anyone else. We know there was no one else that walked up to the porch that night. Is there a possibility someone else was in the van? That's certainly possible. Won't completely rule it out, but we're not leaning in that direction.
You said no one was involved, none of the victims were involved in the January robbery and shooting, but was this guy known as Creeper involved in anything?
No, we don't have any information at this time that would suggest, he tells us no, and we don't have any information that would suggest that he is. The people that were, the victims in this case, from what we've been able to determine, no real extensive criminal records or anything like that, they were hanging with a bad crowd or that type thing, which we see sometimes in these shootings. This does not appear to be the case here.
This just seems, Sheriff, a terrible tragedy. Just, a man bent on revenge.
It really is. I mean, and that's we live in dangerous times. There's no doubt about that, and this is evidence of what one person can do, the damage that he can do.
He was taking the law into his own hands.
He took the law into his own hands, and he took it well beyond that. I think in this case, absolutely. I don't think the detectives had any that conversation with him. He, again, at the time of his robbery, he could not. Most of the leads had been exhausted. There were some, and there still continue to be some other things that we have been pursuing. But as far as there weren't any eyewitnesses that could identify anybody, he couldn't identify anybody. And as a matter of fact, the descriptions he gave at the time. These were Hispanic males involved in this case that are victims of this case. On Thanksgiving, the description that he gave back in January, his case, were black males that were involved. So, totally different description. How he came to focus on Creeper that he was asking for, and his actual nickname is Creep, not Creeper, but how he came to focus on him, we don't know. No, there's comments from people, associates we've talked to, that he just was obsessed and he had been asking for any information. He had asked people if they could find the person he called Creeper and bring them to him, that he would take care of them. That he had a lot of police type of equipment, and all you've got to do is just bring him to me and I'll take care of it from the rest. And he had offered that $1,500 cash reward for that.
What about threats to the victims and family after the shootings? Did he call in any threats? I heard rumors from family members that a threat had been called in that he was going to finish the job.
I'm not aware of that, of anything that I believe he was trying to stay under the radar after that. So I don't think he was calling anybody.
One of the witnesses said that Mr. Keetley came up to the porch with a .45 pump action rifle. Can you corroborate that or discount that?
There's some conflict as to what type of weapon, and again, we're still forensically involved in identifying the type of weapon, because whether the .45 was shot from a rifle, most likely a handgun, but he very well could have had another weapon with him, a long gun, and then shot with a handgun. We're going to have to, as these witnesses get better and we're able to talk to them more. Again, two of our people could not tell us anything at night. We were limited to those who could speak to us, and there were only about, I think, 3 other people in the house, and so their testimony is limited as well.
Who spoke to you in the hospital? Which one of the victims?
I'm not sure which one provided the information. I'm not sure if we're releasing that right now or not. Statement.
Did he get startled? Is that why he started firing, or did he just...
No, it did not appear that. It was very deliberate. He told everybody. He first asked for identifications. They started pulling out identifications. He told everybody to lay down, and then he shot from right to left. He just lined them up and started shooting them. So, and again, the only reason we believe the 7th person wasn't shot is because the one person was shot. He stood up and was shot again, and he fell on top of him, and that's probably the only reason that he wasn't shot. I'll have to get you the names. I'm not sure the order of everything.
Do you know where he was getting the information from about Creek and his own investigations?
No, we don't know we don't know how he came to fixate on him. Just another piece of key evidence, and I'll give you a copy of the arrest affidavit, but that led us here is during the course of the search warrant, we were able to find a notebook in his handwriting where he had the creep's real name, which his last name is Bailon. He had his name written in a notebook and had his address. And his address was about 2 houses down from the 605 Ocean Mist Court. And he had that written in a notebook that we found in his house on Bonita Drive.
So do you know why he showed up at the different house?
Pardon?
Do you know why he showed up at the wrong house then?
Other than they were all standing out there, and we believe he had bad intelligence. Either he went the wrong address, or he had been doing some surveillance and knew that these other people did know the neighbor and thought that he may have been standing with them. Had a question?
What is that Creek's name now?
It's in the affidavit. I'll give you. His last name is Bailon, and I think it's in the arrest affidavit, and we'll give you a copy of it. It's a fairly lengthy affidavit. We'll make sure you have all that. Okay. Any other questions?
Do you think there's a chance that this guy could possibly be involved in any other crimes that maybe are unsolved?
You know, I don't know. His name has not come up before. He doesn't really have much of a criminal history that we can find. So I don't know that. Anybody can do something like this. I would say anything's possible, and we won't rule out anything like that.
Give me more details about the underlying domestic violence case that he was initially, the injunction that he violated. Do you know which case that was?
It's a repeat violence case. It's not a domestic violence. It's a repeat violence, and it has something to do with some problems with some neighbors, and we're trying to get all.
Phone call or it had to do with the tailor?
I believe that one had to. I believe it had to do with phone calls. I believe that one had to do with the phone calls, and we're trying to sort that out right now. It's not readily apparent because it was handled through the courts, and there's a process for that. So we're trying to figure all that out. We're just been focusing on the evidence right now and trying to get to the point this morning because we're very concerned about him remaining on the street. This is not a person where you can just wait a long period of time. If he's shot 6 people and would have shot 7 and he's killed 2 and one's very critical, you're just going to have to get this guy off the street very quickly, and that's what these investigators have done and worked basically 24 hours a day since Thanksgiving to make sure. We're afraid of him snapping and going further.
You had permits for any of the weapons?
I do not believe he had a permit. He could not lawfully possess them because of the repeat violence injunction. Once you have that, you cannot have a weapon during the time that is in force.
Do you know of any other priors in the state of Florida? We know it had just the one minor arrest this weekend in Phillipsburg. What was the rest of
Yeah, we're not seeing anything right now. We're running down one other possibility, but it does not look like he has a checkered background. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.